cooperation or I like to call it snitching. And we'll talk about that later when I get to my evaluation, because I think there's something that as Toastmasters maybe we can learn from it. And there's something that you're going to see in this communication slide that I'm going to talk about. But I think I actually started this 15-part program with East Legon yesterday. I mean, thanks to Marilyn messing up my program, but that's okay. I started it yesterday at East Legon with analyzing your audience, which is probably the fundamental thing you need to do as a communicator. But maybe this is even more important than just analyzing your audience. Because as a communicator, you need to understand the responsibility that comes with opening your mouth, or even your body language to send a message across. Communication is shared feelings. It's not just about uttering words. It's about sharing feelings. It's about connecting. And if you respect that, then you can honestly achieve your goal by ensuring that those feelings are shared, and as such, you'll be communicated. So if you feel a particular way and say, I thought you understood me, when you've not shared that feeling with the next person, and you're just being as egocentric as we like to be, then you're not communicating. Does that make sense? What do we mean by being responsible for communication? What do we mean by taking responsibility of your communication? What do we even mean by being responsible in the first place? And I like this interesting response here. The state of fact of being accountable for something within one's power, control, or management. But see, before you can even be accountable for something within your power, control, or management, you need to actually understand the power you have. You need to understand what's within your control. You need to understand what you're managing and the resources that you're managing. Imagine going to your boss and say, you know what, there's no food or there's no product for us to do our sales. And he says, well, what am I supposed to do? Because he doesn't understand his power. He doesn't understand his management. He doesn't understand the things that he has control over. And that's what we do. We walk to mommy, to daddy. We walk to that lady we want to spend the rest of our life with. We walk to that boss of ours. We walk to that next person. And we do not understand the power we have over our oration. We do not understand how to even manage our words and our body language. We don't understand the honors in us. And so what do? We do not take responsibility. We say, well, it's not my fault. I tried to speak to her. She didn't listen. I tried to convince him. He didn't listen. Oh, I tried. Oh, me, I've done my part. But see, if you understand that control, if you understand that power, if you understand the honors on you, then it's not about trying. It's about communicating. It's about seeing it from a total collective point of view as opposed to seeing it from your egocentric point of view. So what do we mean? Well, it's a simple question. Whose responsibility is it to ensure that there's communication? The listener or the person sending the message, the communicator? Research shows 60% the onus is on you, the person communicating. But I will say to you, it should be 100%. Imagine if I understood that 100% of communication, whether you're listening or not, is dependent on me, and you felt that same way, then we would not have any issues, would we? I would analyze your mood, I would analyze your issues, I would analyze your worldview and what your problems are. I'll analyze your state of mind, and then I'll speak carefully, ensuring that at the end of the day, you get my message. And and you would do the same. Now, if you leave and communication has not been achieved, don't say, oh, well, that's just a stubborn person. No, when you take responsibility, what you do is you ask yourself, how did I not take control? How could I have better managed the situation? And what could I have done within my power? That is the attitude. See, taking responsibility is not one time thing. It's a continuous process of telling yourself that if it's dependent on me, it's got to happen. Taking responsibility means if you walk into a room and you notice that somebody's dozing off or somebody's sleeping off, somebody's not paying attention, you ask yourself, what do I do to my presentation to make it better so everybody listens? Because it is my responsibility to ensure that they get the message and walk away with it. Take a look at that. See, that's how we're built. We're selfish, so we always like to, oh, well, it's not my problem. Oh, it's okay if, armed robbers are always robbing people are easily gone. In fact, it broke my window the last time. It doesn't happen at second man, so let me just avoid easily gone. Oh, it's all right. At least half the room were listening to me. I don't care about the other half. Or at least people who've gone to the same school I do understand me when I speak, so I don't care about the rest. It's not on my side, my area, it's their problem. But guess what? What happens if that boat sinks? You take responsibility. Oh, as for me, I said my part. If she didn't get it, that's her problem. Responsibility, fellowship, relationship, all in one ship. Responsibility. Or don't even waste your time trying to communicate at all. If I'm responsible for ensuring that my team of people who work for me are doing an effective job, what do I have to do? I have to be, give them resources. I also have to be aware of the risks. I also have to be aware of the barriers that stop us from getting to our goal. If I'm responsible for getting you from destination A to destination B, I have to be aware of the roadblocks. So what are some of the things you need to be aware of as a communicator when you're taking responsibility of your communication? Physical barriers. Today maybe there are too many fine girls here and the guys seem distracted, so I may have to do a little bit more communicating so they pay attention. Or maybe I need to bring the ladies up here to sit by me or stand by me so the guys can pay attention up front. You need to be aware of language barriers. This person is francophone. Maybe the English, I need to take my time or they may not get it. My tree is not so good. Maybe I should take my time when I say the words so you understand what words I'm trying to articulate. Take responsibility. Cultural barriers. Some places you can't talk with your left hand. It's disrespectful. I need to be aware of that. I need to be aware that as I'm doing that, they're trying to listen to me, but they're distracted by it. Or you don't go in front of people and start scratching your bum because, even though you're trying to pay attention, what is he doing? Or removing the booger in your nose. Yeah, whatever, like you've never done it before. Emotional barriers. You need to understand, sometimes people are just not in the emotional state, stable to listen to you. You need to be careful. Everything you say is like exploding in their heads because they're in a heightened emotional state. Ladies, can I get an amen? Amen. So you need to be aware of these barriers. Okay? You need to be aware of gender barriers. Don't go sounding chauvinist and sexist. Be aware there's some ladies up in here. There are conversations we have in the boys' closet. But when we're out with ladies, try to be appropriate. And be aware of other interpersonal barriers. If you're not being aware of them, you're losing a lot. It's like trying to pour water into a filter. You're losing so much water because you're not aware of the holes. You're just trying so hard to fill it. You need to be aware of how much of your words or your information or your communication is being lost because of these barriers, because of this resistance. So how do you overcome these barriers? First and foremost, we need to take our receivers seriously. It's interesting how many times I see this in professional environments. And when I say professional environments, I've been to a lot of conferences and professional environments where I've emceed, communicated, connected, and you see presenters sit in front of august audiences and say things like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I did not prepare for my presentation." Telling that person who just woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to come and sit in front of you that, "I did not have time. You're not important enough." Or, "I apologize, but XY didn't make it, so I have a substitute here." Or, "I just dubbed my slides there because I could." We need to be aware that the most important person in the room when you speak in public or when you communicate is your audience. And so you need to respect and take your audience or your receivers seriously. You need to take pains into analyzing them and understanding their barriers. You need to also do what? Make sure your message is crystal clear. Do we have any Kwabutri boys here? No? Okay. Well, what we used to do, we used to like, and I think it happened in other boys' schools as well, I think at Cracker and Motown, where you'd give a speech and you use a number of Presec boys used to do that. They give these huge words and everybody would scream, "Shit! Shit!" We get all excited. You're talking trash. If the people you're communicating to don't understand, it's just a show off. But hey, we were in high school, what did we know? Now I know better. You need to try to use multiple channels to communicate. And I saw an example of this yesterday when I was talking to a colleague of mine. He actually told somebody about the program, but then there was a miscommunication. He had forgotten whatever it was.